What's up, hockey fans? Making the playoffs in the NHL is tough. Just ask the Buffalo Sabres. To make the playoffs multiple years in a row, that's even tougher. In today's video, we're going to look at the longest Stanley Cup playoff streaks. Since it's playoff time, it only feels fitting. Before we get started, help us out and hit that like and subscribe button. Now let's go. Before this season, the last time the Penguins missed the playoffs was after Sidney Crosby's rookie year in 2006. That's a 16-year streak for those keeping up, one that was broken just a few short weeks ago. Coming in at number 10 on our list is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Over the past 16 years, the Pens became the first team to win back-to-back championships in the salary cap era, plus they had another finals appearance in 2008. They've had 5 trips to the conference finals, and while they haven't had a ton of playoff success in the past few years, we can thank the core of Crosby, Malkin, Chris Letang, and even Marc-Andre Fleury for most of the success they've had over the past decade and a half. As the only team to relocate during their playoff streak, we have the Atlanta/Calgary Flames at number 9. Their streak lasted 16 seasons just like the Pens, but from 1975 through 1991. Beginning their streak in Atlanta, they lost in the first round each year until moving to Calgary in 1980, and putting their Georgian failures behind, reached the Cup final in 1986 and winning it all in 1989. During this time, they had to go up against Wayne Gretzky and the Oilers dynasty, but drafting the likes of Joe Nieuwendyk and Al MacInnis helped the team win 3 division titles and 3 100-point seasons during this time. At number 8, the Flyers joined the NHL in the first expansion period and were the first non-original 6 team to win the Stanley Cup, going back-to-back in 1974 and 75. Unsurprisingly then, they also became the first non-original 6 team to make 17 straight playoff appearances from 1972 through 1989. Since they haven't won the Cup since 75, this is the best era in the club's history, winning the Cup twice and making the final 4 other times. During this time, they also won their division 9 times and hit that 100-point mark 10 different times. The 7th longest streak is the first team in NHL history to qualify for the playoffs in 20 straight seasons, the Detroit Red Wings, when they qualified from 1938 to 1959. This channel has talked a lot about Gordie Howe, and to put this streak into perspective, he qualified for the playoffs for the first 12 seasons of his career, winning the Cup 4 different times. When Howe came to Detroit, the Wings were already 8 years into their run, which included another Cup win and a couple final losses. Think about it this way. When they started their streak, the NHL only played 48 games a season, and by the end of it, they were playing 70. No team in the NHL has a history that the Canadiens have, and they're number 6 on our list, with 21 straight seasons making the playoffs from 1948 to 1969. By the time they had started this run, they were already a 7-time Cup champ. Over the course of the next 2 decades, they would go on to win 10 more championships under legendary Dick Irvin and Toe Blake. During this time, they also finished as the league's top team 10 different times, even though it was mostly during the original 6 era. In the 1969-70 season, the Canadiens lost a tiebreaker for the 4th seed, eliminating them from playoff contention, breaking their previous streak and ruining their chance at a 46-year playoff streak. Instead, they began a new streak and had to settle for 2 different streaks of 21 and 24 years. This one, the 5th longest streak in history, equals the same amount of Stanley Cup Finals wins the club has with 24. Even though this streak was longer, they found more success in their previous one, but still winning 8 Stanley Cup championships during this time, the last coming in 1993, which is the last time a team from Canada has also won the Cup. The team during this time had so many Hall of Famers that it could have its own video, but let's leave it with 13 division titles and 13 seasons with 100 or more points. At number 4, we have the only non-original 6 franchise getting a spot in the top 5. The St. Louis Blues qualified for the playoffs from 1979 through 2004, a streak of 25 years. Surprisingly though, they never had the star power some of the other teams on this list had, beginning with Bernie Federko and ending with Chris Pronger. During this 25-year stretch, they only won their division 4 times and only hit the 100-point mark 4 times, and they have the unfortunate distinction as the only franchise to make the postseason for 15 or more consecutive years without a Cup final appearance. Coming in at number 3, the Red Wings had a 25-year run that was as dominant as any run in league history. During this time, they were loaded with Hall of Famers, with the likes of Nicholas Lidstrom, Henrik Zetterberg, Pavel Datsyuk, and Steve Yzerman. We actually just did a video on the top 10 Red Wings players, so check it out in the link below. The ability to continually draft studs enabled the team to bridge 2 generations of hockey, resulting in 4 Stanley Cup wins, 13 division titles, and 17 seasons with more than 100 points. The second longest playoff streak belongs to the Chicago Blackhawks, who reached the postseason 28 straight seasons from 1969 through 1997. The streak began with legends Stan Mikita, Bobby Hall, and Tony Esposito still on the team, and ended with Hall of Famers Chris Chelios and Ed Belfour in the lineup. Strangely enough, the Blackhawks are the only original 6 team to have a streak of 20 years or more without winning the Cup, as they lost 3 different times during this span. They also won their division 13 times while finishing with 100 points 6 different times. And here we are, the longest playoff streak in NHL history and the longest in the 4 major professional sports belongs to the Boston Bruins at a mind-blowing 29 seasons. This streak began in 1967 with Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito leading the way and ended in 1996 with Hall of Famers Cam Neely, Adam Oates, and Ray Bourque. During the streak, they won the Cup 2 different times in 1970 and 72, but they also lost the Cup final 5 different times. They also finished first in their division 12 times with over 100 points 15 different times. And there you have it, hockey fans, the longest playoff streaks in NHL history. Some of these are mind-blowing to think about, and in today's NHL, it will be hard to top any of them. Just ask the Penguins this year. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button, and leave us a comment with your thoughts about the list. And remember, it's a great day for hockey.